This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, so Anthony Joshua, apparently he injured his arm going into the Oleksandr Usyk fight. And by the way, this is not a rumour, this is fact. Okay, Anthony Joshua did. But just to clarify, because already there's going to be some people dropping comments before they even hear a single word that I say, just based on the title, Sporting Icons making excuses for Anthony Joshua. That's not what it is that I'm about. Many of you will know. I don't like excuses. I didn't like when David Haye pulled out his toe. I didn't like all the excuses from Deontay Wilder or his rotten fan base. So I have to hold the same energy when it comes to Anthony Joshua. Now, I was sat around Mark Lazelle's house on Saturday night. I was watching the fight night with Mark Lazelle. Many of you would have seen him on this channel already. He's a former undefeated professional boxer. Now he's owner of the Vision Health and Fitness chain. And of course, he's a manager and trainer of professional fighters. So I've sat around his house alongside other professional fighters such as Stephen USR Robinson and George O'Connor, George's dad, Mark's brother Dominic, and a whole bunch of other people in that as well. Now, during the fight, somebody mentioned, and I forget who it was, said it looks like Anthony Joshua has an injury to his right arm. Now, I don't remember who it was who said it, but for me, I just took it as a throwaway comment. It is what it is. So yesterday, Sunday, of course, I'm going through the comment section from the videos that I've been doing on this fight recently, and I've seen it on a couple of occasions where somebody has mentioned how I heard that Anthony Joshua injured his arm going into this fight. So I Googled it, like just to see if there's anything out there about Anthony Joshua carrying injury to his arm. Couldn't find anything. And again this morning, couldn't find anything. So I'm watching the YouTube channel Stamina for Sale, of course, hosted by Tunde Ajayi and Spencer Fearon. Now, firstly, with Spencer Fearon, believe me, okay, if he tells you something, then it happened, okay? Eddie Hearn told Spencer Fearon that Anthony Joshua was carrying an injury to his right arm. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Spencer Fearon, for whatever reason that may be. I do. I get on quite well with him. He's a great guy, and he's helped me out big time, especially recently. And I mean, I'll probably do a video on it at a later date, but he knows what it is I'm talking about and really, really helped me out. Okay, he really did. So big up to Spencer Fearon. Now, as I said, if Spencer Fearon is telling you Eddie Hearn told me, then Eddie Hearn told him that Anthony Joshua was carrying an injury to his right arm. So my reaction to it, and by the way, I'll put a link to this particular video in the description box. I'll try and find the timestamp. I'll put it in there as well, where Spencer Fearon says Eddie Hearn told me Anthony Joshua was carrying an injury to his right arm. And as Spencer Fearon quite rightly pointed out, then why didn't he throw the jab more? Okay, because obviously Anthony Joshua's right arm, that's his power arm. Okay, now here's how I look at it. Firstly, Spencer Fearon is absolutely correct. Anthony Joshua should have thrown the jab more often, okay? But at the same time, if he was legitimately carrying an injury, then of course that would explain why he wasn't throwing the right hand as much, why he wasn't being aggressive, because he knew he couldn't sustain it. Okay, so that would certainly add a lot of credence to it for sure. But at the same time, if Eddie Hearn is telling Spencer Fearon, which as I said to you before, Eddie Hearn did tell Spencer Fearon, because Spencer Fearon said that he did, then Eddie Hearn as a promoter should have pulled the fight. So why didn't he pull the fight? Is it because of the money? Was he allowing Anthony Joshua to walk in there to fight Oleksandr Usyk, who's difficult enough to fight with two arms, let alone one? Was money more important? Because that's all we can take from it. So if Eddie Hearn knew about this beforehand, why didn't he pull the fight? And how long has he been carrying this injury? Apparently Anthony Joshua didn't do too much pad work in camp for this fight. So the flag should have been there. The fight should have been pulled and rescheduled. Sure, there's a lot of money on the line. Of course there is, okay? It's a pay-per-view fight. The stadium is booked, all that kind of stuff. I understand that. But at the same time, I look on it as I look on all fights. If you turn up to the ring, then for me, you're fit to fight. If you're not fit to fight, then you shouldn't be there. Another way of looking at it, where we can go back onto Eddie Hearn saying that you should have pulled it. A lot of people would have put money on Anthony Joshua winning that fight. And as I said before, it's hard enough to win a fight with two arms against Usyk, let alone one. People threw money away, betting on Anthony Joshua because they didn't know that he was going into that fight disabled. Effectively, because he's fighting with one arm, right? People who bought tickets spent hundreds, if not a couple of thousand, on tickets, especially if they're going ringside. People bought the pay-per-view thinking we're going to get an evenly matched fight. That's wrong. That's wrong. So if Anthony Joshua was carrying an injury, yes, of course, that would certainly hamper his performance, no doubt. Absolutely. And yes, that will give me more confidence for him going into the rematch, because hopefully his right arm is going to be okay, right? But as I said, the fight should have been pulled. He shouldn't have walked in there if he was injured. Now, one thing that makes me think, well, maybe Eddie Hearn is just making up excuses for Anthony Joshua is because during the fight, I distinctly remember Anthony Joshua's trainer, Rob McCracken, head trainer. Of course, there's a bunch of other people around there as well for whatever reason. But Rob McCracken, he said to Anthony Joshua, keep using the jab, stay calm, keep behind the jab, and the right will come. So by him saying the right will come, then there can't have been a problem with the right arm, right? But we could flip it a little bit to say, well, Anthony Joshua, he could throw the right arm, just not as prolifically as he would normally do. Maybe Rob McCracken, that's why he was saying use the jab. Use the jab more. Double it, triple it. Because he knew that Anthony Joshua couldn't throw the right arm too much. Of course, Anthony Joshua, he did throw the right hand, and he did hurt Usyk on a couple of occasions. But again, this will probably explain as well why he wasn't going to the body. Again, listen, I'm not here to make excuses for him, because as I said, for me, like with any fighter, if you're turning up, then you're fit to fight. I said this before, when people, they want to criticise, say, like a Dillian Whyte. Oh, well, he was out on his feet in the final round of the Joseph Parker fight. Well, again, what people didn't know, which I can tell you, is that Dillian Whyte, he walked into that fight with a broken rib and a broken hand. A broken right hand. But the same energy would have been applied. Maybe he should have pulled the fight. But at the same time, Dillian, he won that fight. So, of course, he can then say, yes, I had a broken rib, I had a broken hand. Okay, because he won the fight. Had he lost the fight and we'd have heard that, in fact, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have heard about it. Anyway, listen, back onto Anthony Joshua. I think that it would certainly add credence to him and his performance, because as I said before, fighting Usyk with two arms is bad enough. Fighting him with one, that's damn near mission impossible, isn't it? It really is. And now Anthony Joshua, he's lost all the unified belts because he couldn't throw the right arm as much as what he would normally do. Would it have made that much difference? You bet you it would have made a lot of difference. If Anthony Joshua had his right arm and there was no kind of problems with it, he would have thrown the right arm a whole lot more. You see, we're all looking at it from a tactical point, saying, well, Rob McCracken got this all wrong. Well, maybe Rob McCracken was given these instructions because of the injury. But listen, you're probably never going to hear it from Anthony Joshua until he releases a book one day or something, because Joshua, he ain't one for making excuses, okay? Anthony Joshua could have literally broke his arm, fought, and we probably wouldn't have known anything about it. And the only reason that we know anything about it is because Eddie Hearn told Spencer Fearon. That's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.